All right, hello everyone. Hello to everybody watching live. Hello to everybody watching the recording. Super excited to be hopping on today. And we're going to be talking a little bit about shifts in seasons and schedules and adapting. So if you are on here live and you want to like pop in with your 2 cents and ideas and things that have worked for you, please feel free. I love hearing from other people things that they do when maybe it's a season shift for them in life. I know for me, I live in New Jersey, so my kids are not back to school yet. I know a lot of our southern friends, their kids are back to school. Um, but I just feel like fall, September, comes with this shift in schedule, even if you don't have kids going back to school. I just feel like we kind of get out of this like summer thing, and then it's like, okay, we're going to transition into fall and the holidays and all the things. And that can be that can be challenging. And it can be challenging if we're being honest for entrepreneurs that create your own schedule because we don't really have anybody telling us what to do. We don't really have anybody that's like, you have to be here at this time and show up at this time and do this, right? Like, in our job, we would have a boss that's like, hey, you got to be here by 8 a.m. Hey, you got to be here by 7 a.m. And this is what you do till 5 p.m. So sometimes it gets a little difficult when there's a schedule shift if we are not going to stay accountable and vigilant to sticking to what our priorities are and what maybe they've looked like over the last couple months. It's been a little different, right? I know for me, when the big thing for me, if you have kids in school, it is the school thing is because everybody's got to get back on a schedule, right? I think people say that like, can't wait to get back on a schedule because summer's kind of a free for all. So for me, that's a big deal because I'm like, okay, like what time they like, what time are they going to leave for school? When am I going to have this? And what are these going to look like? Now, this year, my middle one goes to school full time. So that'll be different. Last year, he went only 3 days. But it's just kind of shifting that thing. It's going to get darker sooner. So maybe you worked out early, early or later. So it's all the things. So we're going to talk about some ideas. Pardon my cough. Um, to help us get through that. So, anybody on here, am I right in saying that September is going to bring shifts in schedules and mindsets and like let's get back into a new groove, right? So something that has always helped me, Emily, I know it is, I crave schedule, right? I do. I crave it. My kids thought I was like the devil this morning because I'm like, you have to get off the couch and move right now. Like, do something. They're like, I don't know what to do. I'm like, there's plenty to do. But like, I know we don't have to, and Emmett's like, but you said we didn't have to go anywhere. I'm like, yeah, I know, but you still need to get up. Um, so for me, something that has worked a lot is time blocking. And why? Because one, it's visual. You can actually see how many hours you have in a day and what you're filling your time with. Two, it keeps you very organized. Um, but it also requires you to brain dump everything that you need to do. And I say when you're creating that schedule, and I kind of find it helps like on Sundays just to kind of sit down and like vomit everything you need to do for the entire week, vomit it all out. And I'm talking like phone call to an insurance company, make a dentist appointment, like grocery shop, do the bills, like vomit everything onto this piece of paper that you have to get done. And then you start with the really important things. I have to go to work. Jenny has to go to work Monday through Friday from 8 to 4 or whatever, right? So she knows in this time block, 8 to 4, or maybe drive time's a half an hour, 7:30 to 4:30, she is going to be at work or in the car. So now she sees, okay, well, from 5 a.m. to 7:30, what do I need to get done? Right? And then after 4:30 till 9 o'clock at night, what am I going to get done? And it really helps you see the available time that you have. And for me, I will tell you, I will time block cleaning. Okay. So like last year kind of looked like when the baby would take a nap, I would either work or clean and it would be in there for like an hour, right? Y'all, I would get cleaning for like 20 minutes. I'd go crazy and I'd look at the clock and I'd be like, it's only been 20 minutes. Like, I feel like, oh my God. And I'd go back to cleaning. And you know what? When I was done, I got a lot done. But what happens? We clean like crazy for 20 minutes. We feel like we've done all of this stuff. We quit and stop, and then we sit and scroll for another 20 minutes. We get distracted. No, you clean in that time blocking. You work in that time blocking until the time is up because you have scheduled an hour of cleaning. You have scheduled an hour of work. For me, it really highlights like how much goofing off I do, right? I don't know if you have kids, have you ever thought like, what did I do with all of my time before I had kids? Like I should have been uber productive. Like my house should have been sparkling. Like what did I actually do? Right? So it really helps you see how much time that you have. Another tip that you can do when you decide if time blocking is not really for you and you just kind of want to be intentional, like, hey, after work, after dinner, after whatever workout is going to be my work time, set a timer. Set a timer for 30 minutes, 45 minutes to an hour. You work till that timer goes off. Okay. If you're like, I need to send reach out messages and I'm going to do it for 10 minutes. I'm not going to say I need to do 5 messages. I'm going to do it for 10 minutes. You do it until that timer goes off. And you will start to see how much time you actually waste and you just mess around and scroll mindlessly because you are setting parameters around the things that need to get done. Okay. So also when you're brain dumping all of the things that need to get done, and you will hear people say this, and this steps on some people's toes. We make time for what's important to us. And it's really hard, you guys, sometimes, and especially as leaders when we're trying to coach people and they're like, I just don't have time for this. And I'm like, oh, like, do you really not have time for this? Because if one of your friends called and said, do you want to go to happy hour? I'm pretty sure that you're probably going to figure out how to do it. Or they called and they want to go to dinner at 7:30, you're going to figure out how to schedule it in there. Like, I don't have time. And guys, I've said this before. I probably said it on here. I've said it to my team. My husband is really big, and I don't like him for it when he says this, but he will say, I'll be like, I just don't have time. I can't. He's like, you make time for what you want to do, Kate. If it's something that you want to do, you sure as heck will make sure it gets done. And I'm like, well, yeah. I will figure it out. I will find a babysitter. I will take somebody with me. I will figure it out. And that's really what it comes down to. People say, yeah, may as well say it's just not important to me. And that steps on toes, you guys. And it's really hard sometimes as a coach to, sometimes we need to bite our tongue and sometimes we need to not bite our tongue. But when people are telling me they don't have time, listen, can we just call it what it is? We are all busy. I don't care what your job is. I don't care if you have kids or don't have kids. You are busy. We're busy. It's life. We're all doing something. We're all running in 100 different directions. I used to say when I was doing hair that the retired people were the absolute busiest people that came in the salon. They were the hardest people to make appointments for. You want to know why? Because they chose what was important to them every single day. They didn't have to go to work from 8 to 4. Like, so that was, Jenny would be like, I can't come in and get my hair done. I'm picking on Jenny today. I'm sorry. Can't come in and get my hair done today because I work from 8 to 4. But anytime after 4 works. Do you think a retired person is that easy to schedule? Absolutely not. They're like, well, I've got to go to breakfast in the morning and then I have a lunch date and then I'm going shopping and then and I'm like, so when do you want your hair done? Okay. That's our mind. That's what we all do. I'm really having a hard time to figure out how I'm going to do this. How am I going to get this done? I don't have time. Guys, you literally choose what you do every single day. That's the truth of it. And I'm with Michael. You may as well just say, like, it's just not important for me to get done today. And if we think about it, like, This is where the entrepreneur has to have that strong mindset and that drive. You know, when you were in school, when you think back to high school or college and you had a paper due and you waited till the last very minute to do it, you stayed up until 2 or 3 a.m. getting that sucker done. Because the next day, that teacher was going to say, pass your tests forward, pass your papers forward, drop them on my desk. Someone was going to call you on the carpet for what you were supposed to do. Your boss gives you a deadline to get reports done. You're going to stay up and do them. You're not going to be like, I just didn't have time. My kids started back to school. You guys, and I'm a really listen, my kids don't play sports, but my kids are involved in a lot of things, okay? And this is like, well, the kids had soccer, okay? And I'm going to step on toes right here and it's fine if you don't like me after this. Your kids are playing soccer. You're not playing soccer. I mean, you're I don't know. I just don't ever get that. I didn't have time. The kids had soccer. And I'm like, "Uh-huh." Because we make time for what's important to us. And that's what it comes down to. So when we're in a season of change and schedule, guys, there's gonna be a transition period. You're gonna have to figure out what works and doesn't work. Like Gabby, I feel for Gabby. She got a new baby, right? Gabby girl is home with this baby. Her little ones, I'm pretty sure they're going to school. And she's going to be like, okay, I'm going to get up. I'm going to feed the baby. I'm going to get the kids ready for school. Baby's going to take a nap. I'm going to sit down and work my business. She's going to get in the flow of that for about 5 days. And that baby's going to decide that it needs to take a nap an hour later than it was. What's going to happen to Gabby's schedule? Done. She's like, I had it down. The baby's like, we're not napping at 10 o'clock. We're napping at 10:30. Right? God.
What's
No,
an
what am I-
astronaut?
So there's always going to be schedule changes. You're going to have to adapt. You're going to have to, okay, what's the flow? When do I do this? When do I do that? What is okay, hey, I tried this. I thought I could get messaging done on my lunch hour. I thought that during, sitting in the car during the kids' sports, I thought that I was going to do this. This isn't working. You need to adapt. You don't get to just throw your hands up and be like, I'm just too busy for this. Because here's the deal. And now I'm talking to people that like really want this to be a source of income. If you don't take an opportunity in front of you to make a change, 5 years from now, you're going to be in the same place. You're going to feel the same exact way. So, like, if this is supposed to be getting you time freedom and you can't sacrifice an hour or two right now, you're not going to get it. The beauty of this business is you can work it from anywhere on your phone. Absolutely anywhere. 5-minute time blocks, riding in the car on a road trip, like nitty gritty. Here we go. Nooks and crannies. That's the beauty of it. You don't have to sit down and work 2 hours straight at a time, but you're gonna make time for what's important. And that's hard as an entrepreneur because nobody's really calling you on the carpet. Nobody's going to call Jenny tomorrow morning. I mean, maybe Nicole will, but nobody's going to call Jenny tomorrow and be like, did you do all of your IPA yesterday? Probably not going to call her. Hey, you said you were going to send 10 messages, Michael. Did you do it? So there's no fear of the lack of accountability for entrepreneurs. It sounds like a challenge. Take it, girl. So, my nose is running now. There's no fear of the lack of accountability. And that's why, as entrepreneurs, we have to set those parameters and boundaries for ourselves and know why we're doing this and why we're showing up and why am I going to make this a priority? Why is this going to be something that I'm passionate about? Because we're the ones that are going to hold ourselves accountable. In this schedule change, what is it going to look like? For me, you guys, like, I'm literally like, I have no idea what this is going to look like when my kids, because both my older kids are going to school. This is a first. And now I have a 1-year-old. I don't remember what it was like. I don't even know if Millie was in school yet. I don't think Millie wasn't even in school when Emmett was 1. So I'm like, I've got, and they're taking a bus this year. I don't have to drive them to school. So I got an hour of my life back. I'm like, I don't even know what this is going to look like. So I've like sat down, I've started writing things. I'm like, okay, how much time do I have in a day? What is the schedule going to look like? It takes intention because it's good. Guys, like real talk, it can be really easy for me to be like, I didn't have time to work my business today. I've only got 1 kid. I can go do anything I want. Like, what are we doing? I thrive. Does anybody else on here thrive better in a super structured environment? I do. I often say that when I was working in the salon 12 hours a day, I was more productive in my Plexus business than me staying home because I have way too much willy-nilly time. Like, I would be better to go to a job. I am way better with structure. Yes, when I live strictly out of my schedule. Yeah, I call it's like my Bible. I'm like, let me check the Bible. What does it say? Because if I don't have that, we are in trouble. I function better with structure. Well, there's nobody that's creating the I am the schedule maker, right? So we have to put those parameters and boundaries on ourselves and decide what is it going to look like. Now, there's always gray areas where you give and take and wiggle and this and that. But if I have Zoom calls set up or I have work time in my schedule, Nicole has work time in her schedule. She has a Zoom call with Jenny. And Gabby calls Nicole and is like, hey, do you want to go to Panera and hit up TJ Maxx when we're done at 11 o'clock? Nicole's like, let me check. Oh, it's just I bet Jenny can reschedule. I bet we could. Jenny can probably reschedule. That's what we do. It is hard to decline. But that's what we do. And that's where we start letting things creep. Oh, that's scheduled for work time. But if Nicole's doing lashes and Gabby calls and is like, hey, girl, you want to meet for mimosas and TJ Maxx in about 30 minutes? Nicole can't be like, I know your eyes are taped shut, but I'll be right back. Nope, sister girl can't do that. Sister girl isn't going to reschedule her whole lash book because Gabby wants mimosas and TJ Maxx. It's like, hey, I don't get off until 4. If you want to do happy hour instead, we could do that. Okay. And I know, like, guys, this sounds like super rigid and like, but as entrepreneurs that are trying to grow a business, it's got to be this way. It's got to be a priority. And here's the deal. When Nicole says to Gabby, hey, listen, I actually have work time from an hour and a half for an hour and a half today. I can't meet you at 11, but if you want to meet at 1:30, I'm free. That's going to teach Gabby to have respect for Nicole's business. You take this serious enough to turn down mimosas and TJ Maxx, Nicole? Like, are we for real right now? Yes, Gabby, I do. But we don't do that enough. We reschedule Zooms, we move things around. It'll be fine. I'll do it later. I've got messages to send, but it's fine. So, does anybody on here, or if you drop it in the chat or want to unmute, do you have anything that you do that helps you keep that work time sacred, transition through a schedule, anything that you have found, you have tried? I would love to hear it or love to read it in the chat.
Okay, I'm gonna unmute and I'm like not feeling hot today, you guys. I'm feeling not good. But anyway, I think one of my main things is I ask my family to keep me accountable. So I'm gonna tell them, hey, for the next 2 hours, my door is closed unless this house is on fire or the dog is eating a cat. Do not come and open my door. If you hear me talking, that's because I'm talking to somebody. Don't come in. And my kids know, like, leave the door closed, literally, unless this house is on fire. And I will tell my husband the next 2 hours, I need to be unbothered. Leave me alone. And it's just clear cutting that with my kids and my husband. This is my expectation. This is what I'm doing. And I will literally tell my kids, you know, all those Nikes you wanted for school, you know, that Lululemon, you know, this, that's because mama's got to work. Dada's paying the bills, mama's buying the other stuff. This is how we make you like a good life, hard work, resilience. And I put it back to telling them, this is what pays the bills. This is what pays off. I'm very honest with my kids. So I'm like, if you want those things, you got to let me work.
I love that so much. I'm huge on children buy-in and like teaching them this is how things work, and where they come from. So I love that.
The other thing I did
go ahead.
do was, for me, I know that clutter really, really like gets to my brain. I can't drive a cluttered car. I can't walk into a cluttered laundry room. I can't have dishes. Like, those things really mess with me. So this might be I don't know, people might disagree with this, but I do make deals with my kids where I'm like, I will pay you X amount of money per load of laundry. I will, because it's taking the load off of me, it's teaching them responsibility, and it's giving them if I don't do my job, I don't get paid. You want Ulta, you want Sephora, you know how much money you need, that's how many loads of laundry you're gonna have to do. My grandparents were like up in arms about it. They're like, they should be helping, you shouldn't be paying them. I was like, hey, well, this isn't the 1920s, chill out. Like, this, we're evolving here, people. But I will just offload things. So if I know it's going to overwhelm me, what is $5 that I'm going to pay my daughter to wash, dry, fold, and put away when there's 6 of us and a farm of animals and like all the things? So I'll just offload things. And I have to tell myself, like, okay, the $5 I could blow on either buying all my kids packs of gum or paying her to do the laundry.
Mhm.
We got to choose.
I love it. I love it. And like, if we're being honest, you're going to spend that $5 on her anyway.
Yeah.
So why not bring some responsibility with it? I mean, I think it's a great idea. But I also love that you've set the parameters with them, like doors closed, because you're telling your subconscious, this is what's happening right now. Right. So when you go into work, your subconscious is working for you then. Like, it already knows what's going on. So I
Right.
love that. I love it.
And it's honestly setting a boundary for me and them too.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like,
Absolutely.
oh, it's crazy how much questions you don't come ask me when you know I can't answer it. It's not like, hey, mom, hey, mom,
Mhm.
hey, mom.
Mhm.
I'm like, figure it out.
Yes.
Figure it out.
I love it. Who else? Anybody else want to share tips, tricks, going through a change in season schedules? I think Michael's trying to unmute.
Yeah, I'm off schedule today. I got called in to help out at the station. Having a checklist has been everything, and I say that like literally. The checklist is right here. It came with me to work. I can take my Plexus products today. I can share my story in 2 to 3 times per week. And just going through and knowing that you've done the things, but more than that, like going through and hey, there are a lot of places here. Well, you can't see it in my camera, but there are a lot of places here that like I did not do a good job. And I can write myself a note and say, hey, you suck. You need to be better at this. And it gives a chance to grow. So when you're time blocking, it's just literally going down the checklist. And that structure has been huge for me. This is a 75 hard challenge that we started. I'm still doing it. It's actually become very uncomfortable if I get out of habit doing it now. But it's super simple when you can just go in and I sent 3 to 5 follow-up today. Done. You know it's done. That's your standard.
I love it. And yes, that's what I was going to say too. Like, you've already created that, so you already have the minimum. Like, I'm accepting this as the minimum. This is my standard. And I used to say that in the hair salon, the assistants, a lot of times they would, they like, all of a sudden they're like, I don't know what I should be doing. And I'd be like, what do you mean? So we made a checklist and we hung it in the back room. And I'm like, go check the checklist. Did you do everything on the checklist? And if you did, start over. Like, have it, it's done. You've already decided this is what needs to be done today, right? So go visit the checklist, because I mean, a lot of times I think that's one of the easiest ways for us to get out of work every day. It's like, I just don't know what to do. Who do I message? Who do I message? What do I do? What am I doing? Like, and then we spend so much time being like, I'm not sure. We've wasted 20 minutes. Or if you have the list, go write down it. Okay, did I do this? And like Michael said, like, man, I really didn't do that at all this week. I should probably start there next week. Right? I love it. Anybody else? All right, you guys. So in this transition into fall, into the schedule changes, I want you to be very conscious of what is a priority. What are you making a priority? What are you giving leeway to? Give yourself some grace, because it is a time of change, right? Give yourself some grace, but also don't give yourself a way out. Nicole, yes, find somebody that's accountable. Hey, listen, this is what I'm going to do. Could you just check in on me every so often, see how I'm doing? Can we just talk about this like every couple days, see how we're making out? Give yourself grace, make adjustments, but also remember, the next time that you say, I don't have time to do that, I didn't have time, Michael says, we're putting it on Michael now. Michael says, is that important to me? Right? So I love you guys. I'm super excited heading into fall. I love all the things fall. I love the structure. And just stay very, very organized and dedicated and committed to the decisions that you have made. All right? All right, guys. Thanks for joining me this Wednesday. Have a good one.